This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Welcome to Unleashed. I'm James. He's Andrew Fantasia. He's doing this thing called the Fanny Awards right now. We took him away. Well, I guess not right now because you're here. But we took him away from the Fanny Awards. Andrew, before we get into it, because the people don't watch past this, so they're probably hanging up right now. We're going to talk about Baby Yoda, Grogu, Mandalorian. But Andrew, tell us a little bit about the Fanny Awards and where to find them. I threw you on the spot. We didn't say we are going to talk about that, but suck it.
It's okay. I like the spot. Suck it. I haven't heard that in a long time. The Fanny Awards are an awards show, a movie awards show that happened on my channel, the Andrew Fantasia YouTube channel. And they're just like the Oscars and the Golden Globes, but they're better because they're not the Oscars and the Golden Globes. And we do the 10 best movies of the year. We also give out special awards: best hero, best villain, best action scene, best original concept, which is my favorite, most underrated, and most disappointing. Spoilers, all 10 of the top 10 are Morbius.
I feel like it should go without saying that it's Morbius. And I got to be honest with you, I'm on the wrong camera right now, which is hilarious. I'm looking at this camera, but it's this camera here. So I'm going to see if I can change that for all you 14 people watching right now.
I thought you were just staring off into the distance.
No, I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I used to do that, but I've stopped doing that. That's old James. Just going to plug in. We're going to talk about Grogu, Mandalorian. Anyway, go check out Fanny Awards. It's always a lot when you do it and everything. That camera's not working, which is making me very scared. Here we go. Go check out the Fanny Awards. It's something you're going to want to see. It is entertaining every year. I disagree with them probably every year. We have very different opinions on movies. We shouldn't have done a Star Wars video today. We should have done a Scream 6 video today. But we'll turn this will turn into a Scream 6, I'm sure. But let's talk Mandalorian Season 3 trailer drop. I'm guessing you've seen it?
I have seen it, and I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I thought of you the moment those battle droids showed up, and I was like, okay, this is going to be our season.
It's funny because I've seen people complain about the battle droids about Order 66, and I'm like, you're complaining. And look, and I loved Andor, and Andor is arguably my favorite of the live action Star Wars series. Probably my favorite Star Wars series. Doesn't need to have live action in there. I love Book of Boba Fett, but I love Andor. It's probably my favorite. It's probably the best. But how are we complaining when Star Wars is in Star Wars? It's like people have forgotten that it's not. Like, get your heads out of your buttholes and stop pretending it's something that it's not. Like, Star Wars is this. That would be like, I don't know, watching Batman without Batman. It's weird to me. Like, it's Star Wars is Star Wars. And that's why I wanted to do this topic about Grogu. Because people are also complaining now about Grogu. It's like, oh, Grogu's in it again. He should have stayed with Luke. Why? And then my thing is, like, first of all, I'm not a showrunner on this show. I know nothing about this show whatsoever. So I don't know where they're going with it. But I'm totally fine with Grogu being in this show.
I like your quote, first of all. Let's call TeePublic and tell them we're ordering a new shirt. At the back, it has a battle droid, and at the front, it says, get your heads out of your buttholes.
Get them out!
Star Wars font. But yeah, I mean, you just nailed it there, James. Like, the Grogu thing, Mandalorian's about Grogu. I don't understand where all of this is coming from.
I don't think people realize that.
I don't think they do. And you know why? I think it's because it's coming from, and I don't like to generalize here. I'm just totally making an assumption. But the majority of Twitter Star Wars trolling comes from the kind of people who want everything to be, quote, badass, right? I didn't like Luke because he wasn't badass in The Last Jedi. I don't like Rey because she's not badass. And I feel like that's the same thing. Yeah. I only like Boba Fett because he's badass. That's why I like him. Grogu he doesn't fall under the badass category. Mandalorian does. And so I think these people are like, oh, well, I gotta have a baby. The baby can't fight. The baby can't be badass like I want it to be. I'm a big man. That's at least what I hear when I hear these trolls talking. And I mean, to me, this show has always been about the relationship between these two. Grogu's a part of it. He was adopted by him, so he's as much a Mandalorian as Din, right? That's what's cute about the titles. It applies to both of them. So to me, this sounds like you're watching Andor and you're saying, God, why does there have to be so much Andor?
Yeah, that's how. Like, the Star Wars annoys me, but the Grogu thing. I mean, people are complaining like, oh, I haven't seen Book of Boba Fett. No, I gotta watch. Yeah, well, watch it, you jackass, because it's Star Wars. It's like the thing is what pisses me, like, really pisses me off with people is okay. Look, first of all, I'll side Akbar. It probably should have been called Mandalorian : Book of Boba Fett, but it's Star Wars, so it's all Star Wars. So the problem is, like, they're all good. They should all connect. If that's the whole damn point. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, they're like, everything's going to connect. And now that things are connecting, you bitch asses are complaining that things are connecting. And it's annoying the hell out of me because I thought some of the connecting they did was terrible. But now you have a show that's a spin-off of another show that ties right into the show and you're complaining about it. Watch the damn show. That's what it's there for. And if you don't want to watch it, Google it. Grogu's back. Shut the F up. I do not care about you anymore, people on the internet. You're like, oh, I don't want to watch the Book of Boba Fett. Then don't. Watch. There's 3 episodes you should watch if you want to watch Mandalorian, because they're basically Mandalorian episodes. Just watch those last 3. There's 5 more in the series. If you can't get through those, suck a nut. That's what I'm saying. Ooh, pistachio. If you can get a nice pistachio, they're so good. Cashews.
And they're the same color as Grogu.
There's the same
pistachio green.
But you're absolutely right. The Mandalorian is, for all we know, Grogu could be the new ruler of Mandalore. And we could be watching the story about the new ruler of Mandalore, and it's Grogu.
I think you came up with like another 4 t-shirt ideas right there in that rant, James. That's just the nature of it. Yeah, it's the nature of connected storytelling. Was it an odd choice to show what happens to Grogu during the Book of Boba Fett? It's definitely not one that I saw coming or would have expected, for sure. So I get that. I get that you want to save Grogu for the Mandalorian, fine. But we are getting what we wanted. We're getting the cohesive Star Wars universe, the connected one, which is, where Legends, at least the Legends that I am aware of, where they really dropped the ball because they didn't do this very well. But Disney is keeping up with it really, really well. There are people out there who read the comics. There must be. I can't be the only one. Please tell me Brock reads them so that somebody can agree with me when I say this here.
I believe he reads most of them, but I don't believe anything you say anyway. So
that's right. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I could be just a ball of lies right now.
The
but those
Fanny
comics,
Awards, what lies!
Those comics, man, they are doing the Lord's work when it comes to crossing. Like, you're getting the rest of Kira's story in the comics. You're getting way more information on the Knights of Ren than J.J. Abrams ever dreamed of giving you. You're getting Dengar and Bosk and all kinds of things that are just like part of the story. None of those comics feels like I can skip this because it's not about anything I care about. It all feels like it's part of the Skywalker saga's story. And they have been doing a great job making those feel important. The books, in my opinion, not so much. But this is just what Star Wars is now. It's a connected universe, which is what we sweaty fans have wanted it to be since day one. So
yeah. And now we're complaining about it because we have to watch the Book of Boba Fett that some jackass in his mom's basement didn't like and wrote a review on Rotten Tomatoes about. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Star Wars. You're not gonna like all the Star Wars, but you don't have to be a little baby about it. Like, they're all connected. I'm really mad, Andrew. This is not the point. This is not what I was hoping to come on here for. Do you know what I do want to complain about though? Is in the trailer they show like Coruscant, which I'm guessing is Coruscant, but people are speculating that it's Hosnian Prime, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Fantasia. If it's Hosnian Prime, I'm all. If it's Coruscant, I'm all in. But if it's Hosnian Prime, I'm even more all in because Hosnian Prime is, and I keep forgetting to mention this when I talk about what I don't like about The Force Awakens, but it's Hosnian Prime is probably because when I watched in the theater, I was like, oh, they just blew up Coruscant. That's crazy. And then you find out through like a book that it's Hosnian Prime. What is Hosnian Prime? Why do I care about Hosnian Prime? I don't. I'm sorry. The person looked out into this. They saw the beam coming and killing them. Like I felt no connection to Hosnian Prime. Whereas Coruscant, I was like, oh man, they're really getting rid of the prequels. But it would have had some impact. So if we get Hosnian Prime leading up to the events of The Force Awakens, which it looks like we're getting Snoke and the First Order, I'm all about that. I think that's going to make it so like make the sequels, whatever you think of the sequels, whatever you thought of the prequels, for a lot of people benefited from the Clone Wars. Brock brings it up all the time. Clone Wars really fleshed out the prequels for him. And the sequels, I feel like they missed a lot of opportunities, a lot of beats in the sequels. And now we have an opportunity to go back and flesh those out. And I think Hosnian Prime is a big one because I guarantee you there's still people that don't know what a Hosnian Prime is and just think that planet from the prequels was blown up.
One of them's last name is probably Abrams. The world building of the prequel era is the best world building in Star Wars, period. And you can hate the prequels all you want, but you're kidding yourself if you think that's wrong. It is the best world building in Star Wars, arguably some of the best world building in fiction. It's just outstanding. The sequel trilogy, worst world building in Star Wars. Let's be real. It is what it is. It's the worst world building Star Wars has done. Here's a planet. Okay, it's gone. Here's a person. Okay, they're dead. And it's... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm cutting you off like a jerk. No, you go on.
It's a nice benefit to see these places and have some weight added to that. Have some weight added to Hosnian Prime, like you're saying. And I remember hearing, I don't know if it's for The Mandalorian or for something else, but I remember hearing through the grapevine lately that we're getting Hosnian Prime. So I kind of hope it is. As much as I would love to see Coruscant,
yeah,
let's see Hosnian, because to me, that's one of the biggest balls that were dropped in the new 3 movies was we didn't get to see any of the New Republic. 0. And that's a shame to me because we spent 6 movies fighting for it. So
yeah, I think that and Snoke they go hand in hand in a lot of ways, where the feeling was, well, the originals didn't have to show you. And I think the mistake that is made with all of that and the benefit of these shows being that you can flesh those out now is that, the original trilogy came out. We didn't have 40 years of Star Wars before that. It was what it was. So when the Emperor has no backstory or isn't shown, that's because we have nothing to base that on. The Emperor's allowed to come out of nowhere and be whatever because we don't know the history. But once you know the history, when you got to 7, Snoke you need more than just he's out of nowhere a bad guy, because we've spent 6 movies to that point getting there, and all of a sudden this person was in the shadows or wasn't. Like, what's going on there? And Hosnian Prime's the same. We've had movies where we had a Hosnian Prime like system, but the thing is, and you compare it to Coruscant or Alderaan. At least Alderaan, when it's blown up, there's some. As a kid, they're not really big stakes, but as you get older and you watch the movie and listen to it, they're a little bit bigger because you know that that's where Leia's from. You know that they're innocent people and blah blah blah. And she says all that stuff, so there's more weight even to that than Hosnian Prime. When I'm watching The Force Awakens and I'm still like, I don't know why they're blowing up this planet. I can't, like, what is the point of this?
And the sad thing is there should be more weight to Hosnian, because Hosnian is one of the centers of the New Republic. From what the books have said, that it revolves around a lot and it changes planets, so it's not always set in one space. But that's where the New Republic is. Their fleet is there, their leaders are there. So it would be like the fact that we didn't get to see the New Republic after this victory that they finally had over Palpatine. It would be like if the next Marvel movie after Endgame, if all the Avengers got killed off screen and they're like, well, oh, too bad, they're gone. Guess we got to get a new roster. right? Like that's how cheap that felt to not be able to see that world that we spent 6 movies earning.
Yeah, no, that's a absolute fair point. And it sounds like we're a little bit more negative, but I think I still feel like they went into the sequel trilogy not fully understanding what they were doing. Like, I don't know if they knew what they were doing in terms of a reboot or a requel. I'm not sure if they had the footing on there, but I think it's just such a benefit, and I'm excited to see all that, because let's see the transition from Coruscant to Hosnian Prime. Let's see what's going on. And you can argue it's in the books and whatever, but people don't read the books. Like, I mean, they do read. I'm not putting down the books. That sounded like a really harsh put down. I respect the books to hell, but what I'm saying is the majority, your general audience, the vast majority of fans, they're not reading those books, and they're not reading the comics that you're praising a little while ago. They're just not. They're watching the shows, and so I think you got to put it on TV. You got to put it in the theater, and it looks like this Damon Lindelof. What's his name? Lindelof. It looks like his Star Wars movie is it's going to start shooting soon, and I'm glad we haven't heard anything official about it. That's all rumblings, and I'm hoping it happens. I'm hoping the announcement comes with a freaking trailer and nothing before that, and I'm hoping to not hear anything more about it from these jackass leakers. I'm calling everybody jackasses and jerks today. I've just stopped caring. It's Thursday. It's a snowstorm. I storm around here where I am. I don't care anymore. I'm just. It's. I have to be negative talking about the negativity, but the Mandalorian trailer was so good. I thought it was so much fun. It offered so much. It offered Order 66, which people are sick of now. Again, Star Wars and Star Wars. God forbid, the biggest moment in Star Wars history. And I'm not talking about like from a viewer perspective, in universe. I think a lot of times. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to say is what I've been trying to say this whole time. It's people forget the in-universe of it all, and we look at it from the outside. And I think a lot of the sequels were done this way, with especially Luke Skywalker. Whether you like him miserable, you like him happy, I don't care. That's not what I'm saying. But I felt like the emphasis on him, especially in The Force Awakens, where I thought he was a myth. I feel like it was more like the writers were looking at it from, and I think Kasdan was a writer, but looking at it from the outside looking in, as opposed to in the universe, because never in the original trilogy are we ever hinted at that anyone knows what Luke Skywalker has done. He burns Vader away from everybody. He goes away. Does anyone even know that Vader is there? Does anyone know?
Somebody found that helmet.
So yeah, well that anyway.
Chief Chirpa was just, he sold it at a flea market, and Kylo Ren's like, well, Chief, no, this is exactly what happened. Chief Chirpa says, nobody wants this helmet I'm selling. And Kylo Ren shows up and he goes, but I do.
Bringing it back. It's been a few years. But I think this is the problem is a lot of people, I'll just generalize it we look at Star Wars from the outside looking in when we got to look at it in universe. And of course, Order 66, first of all, it relates directly to Grogu. Like his backstory is because like whatever is going to happen with him starts there. Like his journey to meet Din Djarin starts with Order 66. So we have to go back there. And that's Star Wars and Star Wars. And this is what it's all about. And if you start, and look, I'm going to appreciate the Acolyte. I appreciate Andor. But they're within the same world. The minute you start to pretend that Star Wars that we know and love doesn't exist and you want to do something completely different, it's not going to be Star Wars anymore. It's going to be Valerian. And I'm not here to watch Valerian. I'm here to watch Star Wars. So let's get our heads out of our buttholes and appreciate what we got and like it for what it is. And if you don't, maybe, Andrew, not to offend anyone, but maybe you're not a Star Wars fan.
That is a huge shirt right there. Everything you just said. Valerian onward is a shirt.
That's my go-to, because that's like the most generic sci-fi. I've never seen it either, but it's like the most generic sci-fi movie that kind of is Star Wars, but it's not.
It's actually, like, it's not amazing. I like it. It's not amazing, but I will say it is not generic at all. It is so inventive and cool looking.
No, but it's not Star Wars though. I mean,
it's not Star Wars.
No, I mean
You're
like,
right.
No, that's what I mean. I don't mean generic as in like bland. I mean like, it's a movie in outer space, future, whatever. Like it is what Star Wars would be without the Force, basically. You know, like it's
yes.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I should properly phrase that.
No, it's funny. I remember that came out around the same time as the Alita Battle Angel movie, and they both, there's a perfect story in there somewhere. Yeah, they came out, I think, within a year of each other, less than a year. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But
okay.
yeah, it's like Valerian is not the best movie, not the best story, but it's a breathtaking, cool world they built. And then on the flip side, Alita Battle Angel is like a magnificent story and is just kind of a bland world of just people with robot parts and stuff. So it's like if you squish them together, you've got like a perfect sci-fi. But yeah, the Grogu of it all and the Mando of it all for me is, I don't know, this is the way I've been looking at it since day one of Mandalorian, is Din Djarin's story of taking up the mantle and Mandalore and getting the Darksaber now and all that. That's all cool and I like it. But to me, that is always going to take a backseat to the Grogu story. I just find that infinitely more interesting. I find what happened to him, his life, his Order 66 thing, all of that, the mystery of what they're going to do with his DNA. Is it Snoke? Is it something else? I find that way more interesting than the Mandalorian politics of it all. So it's just always front and center in my mind. And I get it. If people like the Mando stuff better, that's totally great. But you are getting both this season. So why not just enjoy both? I don't understand. It's not like they're taking one away. It's not like they're omitting crucial stuff. You're getting both. So be happy and watch Valerian.
There's a weird thing going on nowadays where we kind of don't like what's presented to us and have created something in our mind for whatever reason. For Avatar 2, but everyone seems to really like it. I don't know what to make the response it's getting because it's the polar opposite of everything in Star Wars I've ever seen.
Sorry, you cut out for a lot of that. What were you talking about at something part 2?
I was saying Avatar 2 is like, it's shocking to me the way people have, it's making $2 billion. No one is really talking about it. Everyone is like, I really like that movie. And then they kind of shut up about it. And I've got to be honest with you. I find that extremely refreshing because no one's like, I really wish that they were magenta people instead of blue this year because blue's been done. Like, there's none of that. It's just people are watching it and like everyone's just like, I like it. And I don't know what it is. I don't understand what it is about Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars has 30 years on Avatar and 8 more movies to 9 more movies. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's just refreshing that people are just going to see this movie and they seem to be enjoying it. And I don't have to hear anyone's stupid, terrible opinion of Avatar being something other than Avatar.
I think because Avatar's fans are just Avatar fans. You know, they're not demanding things. They're just enjoying the ride. I don't think you're a Harry Potter fan at all, James, but I think that
I am a massive. Are you kidding me? I love Harry Potter. I own them all on Blu-ray.
You own them all on Blu-ray.
I own 2 of the 3 Fantastic Beasts, and I think I have 2 of the screenplays for the Fantastic Beasticles.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I haven't seen the final Fantastic Beast.
Neither have I. I'm in the same.
No, actually, we're in the majority on that
one. Apparently most people haven't, including Zaslav. But the Harry Potter of it all is, I feel like just too many of us have turned into Harry's cousin Dudley, right? Too many of us have turned into Dudley, where we go downstairs and there's all these presents that Lucasfilm gave us, and instead of being like, "Oh my God, look at all the beautiful presents," instead we're turning to Lucasfilm and saying, "How many of them are there? Last year there were 37."
Yeah.
Can we stop doing that, please?
By the way, that kid has turned into a really good actor. He's in The Devil All the Time with Tom Holland. Have you seen it?
No, but Harry Melling, I think, or Henry Melling. He's.
I don't know his name, but I remember I was watching The Devil All the Time with Tom Holland, and I was like, "Oh, the movie's pretty good." I think it's a Netflix movie. It's better than most Netflix movies, but I felt like it was close to being great. Like, it just couldn't get over that Netflix hump. But he showed up and he plays this pastor. And he's really good in it. And I'm like, man, who is this guy? And then I Googled him and I was like, oh my gosh, he's older and skinnier now. And but he's really good in that movie. So I would, if you want a good performance, check. I don't know if you'll enjoy the movie. I can't. It's very slow, which I like very slow movies. It's slow. I didn't make Erin watch it. I would not subject her to that because she would probably hate every second. We watched this one movie. I don't remember what it was called, but she wanted to watch it because somebody from Ozark was in it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to watch it. I was like not interested. And the movie was like halfway through, and she turns to me, she goes, "You love this, don't you?" Because it was just slow and like super loud ambient noises. And I'm like enthralled, and she's bored out of her mind. And I was like, oh, but I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I can't recommend that movie to you, but I can recommend watching it for his. I thought he was really good in it, and no one talked about it because who's in that movie? Tom Holland's in it, and Sebastian Stan's in it.
Oh,
but I thought that guy, and somebody else is in it, but I thought that guy was probably. I haven't seen it obviously in a while, but I thought that guy might have been the best performer. I thought he had, and no one talked about him because he's
He's a good performer. I like him, and I won't mind if the movie's slow. It just the only thing I'll mind is if the movie is very Netflix, because like you said, that can be a hurdle.
It's better than most Netflix. It felt like it would have been like a low budget. If it honestly did feel like a movie I would have probably rented in like the 90s and not and liked it, but not loved it and be like, that was good. But it one of those movies that kind of goes under the radar that you watch and you're like, that was pretty good. Why isn't anybody talking about this?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. Star Wars.
I'm glad he's in it. I like him. I'm glad he's getting work. He said in an interview lately that made me kind of sad. Where he was like, I'm in this giant franchise full of kids my age, but I was separate from all of it. He goes, I never got that experience. I never got to hang out with like Rupert Grint and Emma Watson and be part of that, just growing up alongside that whole mentality. He goes, I shot my stuff on a back lot and then I went home. So he's
the forgettable character in it though. Like he's kind of like, because he's not a wizard, Harry.
No, he's not. But if he's watching, and I know he is, I'll just tell him this because I know it'll make him feel better. Back when that movie came out, my friend and I would quote him all the time, where we would rush up to each other and we'd say, "Wake up, cousin! We're going to the zoo!" So, Henry Melling, I wish I remembered your first name. We see you and we hear you.
All right, Mandalorian. Is it about Baby Yoda, Grogu, or is it about Din Djarin? Title's very ambiguous. We never know, but I think people need to stop complaining right now. Just watch it for what it is. You might like it. You might end up hating it. Who the heck is to say? It won't be me. I won't be saying it today because I've said enough and we've lost 1,700 subscribers probably. But Andrew, one more time, tell everybody what the fan is, your YouTube channel, and maybe something you're doing on the Digital Charcuterie channel as well.
Yes, that's right. So on the Andrew Fantasia YouTube channel, you can see the Fanny Awards, 10 days of movie awards that are like the Oscars, but better. And those start January 31st. And over on the Digital Charcuterie channel, if there are any board game fans listening to this, I think there are. I think we're all like-minded folk here. If you like board games and you like Marvel, the best Marvel board game ever made, Marvel United, has a third season. That's right. They do them in seasons now. Coming on Kickstarter. Actually, the Kickstarter just dropped yesterday. And this is just one of those games where they keep adding characters. You're like, oh my God, they added her, they added him. And we are covering it on Digital Charcuterie pretty much step by step. I made a big wish list of all the characters I want to see. And James, yesterday, I think 8 characters from my wish list got confirmed for the game. So the force is strong with this game.
They listen to the channel all the time. All right, Andrew, thanks so much for watching. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me here. It's a last minute video. Brock's working a lot. We'll be back, I think Saturday. We're doing episode 272, where we're going to talk a lot more about Mandalorian season 3, much more than I just said here. Andrew, we got to do more videos together. Maybe a Scream 6 video eventually. And of course, the Super
Mario's got to happen. We'll dress as them too, Mario and Luigi. Let's do it.
Gonna happen. Let's do it. Oh, I could dress as Mario. I have a sweater. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, Andrew, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.